Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Corps studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got a fun one for you, if you can call it that. Commanders that punish opponents for just playing, well, the game Commander. Let's jump into it. And of course, you can find a list of these cards in the description below, and actually some deck text on some of these as well throughout the channel. Ruric, Thar, the Unbowed, definitely one that is incredibly brutal and just punishes players, your opponents especially, for playing the game. Ruric, Thar, the Unbowed is a 6/6 Ogre Warrior for 6 mana in Cruel, Vigilance, and Reach. Attacks each combat of Fable, so you know what? It's punishing me, actually, okay? Like, I have to attack. Go darn. Oh, but by the way, whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, 6 damage to that player. That's right, double lightning bolt to a player's face whenever they cast a non-creature spell. Here's the thing, obviously, with this one, it does impact all players, including the builder of the deck itself. That being said, obviously, the builder of the deck can limit the number of non-creature spells, essentially, down to even just nothing, if they want. They can make it so that this will literally never affect them, and that, again, it is massively impactful against any opponent. That being said, of course, maybe there are some exceptions on cards that you might just, like, include in there, like, you know, certain enchantments that double or triple up damage. Yeah, Fire Emancipation, yeah, that might be worth it. Tripling up the damage, essentially, from a card like this is absolutely crazy. Again, 18 damage to any player for casting a non-creature spell. That is nearly half your life in Commander just starting the game off. Or, of course, damage doublers take it to 12. Obviously, there's other ways to impact this, too. I mean, any kind of, like, a life gain effect, essentially. If you've got, like, an equipment that essentially goes, hey, like, you get life gain. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be casting all the non-creature spells I want, then I can just, you know, negate any of that damage and gain an insane amount of life. This one literally just punishes opponents for just doing a basic thing in Commander. Again, literally casting a certain type of spell. Again, a broad category of spells. Again, anything that's not a creature is now going to be incredibly punishing. Next up, let's go in a similar-ish vein with Kaervek the Merciless, a 5/4 human shaman for 7 mana in Rakdos. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Kaervek the Merciless deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target. Here's the thing, it's not even just punishing the opponent that does something, it's taking what that opponent does and then dishing it out to, well, it could be that opponent's face, it could be one of their, you know, permanents, essentially, one of their creatures, or it could actually just be another opponent's face. You could just spread the love around with this one where, again, it's opponents who are actually doing the work for you. Again, they are being punished for doing just anything. Again, they cast any kind of a spell. Again, Ruric, Thar is specific to non-creature. This one is not specific at all. It's any spell at all. When that is cast now, all of a sudden, you dish out that spell's mana value to anything. Again, creature, planeswalker, player's face. Or again, if you've got, like, let's say, I don't know, Brash Taunter or something like that, I guess you could just target Brash Taunter. For whatever reason, you could do that, sure. That being said, this is one, again, where, yeah, damage doublers, damage triplers can really, really impact you. And again, when it comes to the actual, well, build around this commander, it's less limited than Ruric, Thar because, yeah, you're not really going to be considering, okay, like, oh, I can't have this kind of a card in my deck usually, or this many of this kind of a card in my deck. It is one where you're just saying, hey, opponents, you're punishing yourselves and each other, technically. Next up, outside of pain, let's go for one that helps in a different direction by hurting opponents when it comes to card advantage. Nezahal, Primal Tide, a 7/7 Elder Dinosaur for 7 mana in blue. This spell can't be countered. You've got no max mana size, but an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card, discard 3 cards, basically exile Nezahal until that turn comes back into play tapped. Here's the thing about this one. Well, it's a mouthful with all it does, essentially. But also, well, if you want to check out my original, very first YouTube episode, make sure you check this one out on Nezi. I absolutely love you, Nezi. One of my first decks ever. Nezi is incredible. And again, it is something that does punish opponents when it comes to card advantage because they are giving up a lot. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card, you just get free card advantage throughout the game. Opponents, again, have to work for their card draw. Once you've got Nezi in play, you don't. You just get free additional cards because you've got 3 players basically working for you and just, you know, playing the game in the way that they would play it. And you're going to be drawing card after card after card. Even if they try to get rid of Nezahal, they are most likely going to have to cast a non-creature spell again, like a Swords of Plowshares or something like that. You go, oh, thanks for the card, appreciate that. And of course, Nezahal is nearly impossible to get rid of once you get going because you can just, well, blank it basically whenever you need to. So yeah, Nezahal Primal Tide is, again, one that punishes opponents in a different way when it comes to card advantage and disadvantage. Opponents are going to be losing out on the card advantage value against you because you're going to be drawing an insane amount throughout the game because it's going to be really difficult for them never to cast a non-creature spell again, and they won't do that. So yeah, just have fun basically with your, well, Mystic Remora, Rhystic Study, whatever you want to call it, in play. Next up, kind of a combination of the two. Let's talk about Niv-Mizzet Parun. The two types we talked about so far, again, like damage and card draw, this kind of does both. A 5/5 Dragon Wizard for 6 mana, an insanely specific mana value, mana cost I should say, and is it? This spell can't be countered. That's already punishing. Opponents can't stop it. Flying, whenever you draw a card, Niv-Mizzet deals 1 image to any target. Whenever player casts an instant source spell, you draw a card. So you're going to be actually just punishing opponents whenever they cast instants and sorceries, and whenever you just draw cards naturally as well. And whenever you cast instant sorceries, so there's a lot of different things that are punishing them, but again, when it comes to them playing their game and the decisions that they make, anytime they cast instant or sorcery, that, turns into card draw for you. Again, card disadvantage for them by giving you card draw, and also pain, which can go in a multitude of directions. Again, it can be a target at their face, it can be a target at a creature, it can be a target at a planeswalker, whatever it needs to be. Again, it's kind of a combination of previous commanders that we've talked about where, yeah, this is just, well, an insane value engine, kind of like Nezahal, but also an insane damage engine as well at a certain point, and definitely a win condition too. And of course, there are plenty of combos that go along with it. But yeah, again, at the end of the day, when it comes to opponents going, okay, yeah, I guess I need to cast this instant, but I mean, they're going to get card advantage off of that, and also just probably going to take out my Llanowar Elves or whatever it is. Yeah, you're going to lose when it comes to the value game against Niv-Mizzet. Next up, Liesa, Shroud of Dusk. Such a fun commander. Well, I mean, depending on the player and the perspective. A 5/5 Angel for 5 mana and Orzhov. Then pay 2 for each previous time you've cast this spell from the command zone this game. Pay 2 that life that many times. Playing lifelink, whenever player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. So first of all, this is a commander that can be really easy to get out again and again and again because you do not pay commander tax. You actually just pay life tax. And then flying lifelink, you can gain some of that life back, which you're going to need to because this one, again, unlike, say, Kaervek the Merciless, unlike, say, Niv-Mizzet, where you're actually just choosing where that damage goes, this one impacts the player as well that built the deck. Again, whenever you're casting a spell too, you lose life. That being said, obviously, you've got life gain with this one. You also probably have other ways to mitigate the life loss, to get life in other ways, to maybe swap life totals. Whatever it's going to be, you've got ways to get around it. That being said, again, everything is punishing. Again, kind of like Kaervek the Merciless, every single spell that every single player casts has a cost to it. This one is direct to that player, though. Again, if they cast a spell, they lose the life. That's, I guess, fair in that way. But again, when it comes to the amount of life that they lose throughout the game, 2 life might not seem like a lot, but it does stack up a ton throughout the game. Especially, again, when you're going to be padding your life total with, again, lifelink with other kinds of effects that, can just gain you life here, there, and everywhere. This is a very punishing commander that, again, just punishes players for literally just playing, one aspect of the game, which is just playing cards. Next up, how about punishing opponents for being greedy, I guess, in a way? The Council of 4 is a good way to do that. A 0/8 Human Noble for 5 mana and Azorius. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, you draw a card. So again, they get card advantage, you get card advantage. They're trying to get ahead of you in cards, and you are trying to keep pace, basically. On top of that, whenever player casts their second spell during their turn, you create a 2/2 white knight creature token. So again, just getting free additional value again for your opponents doing things again is going to make them hesitate to do certain things. It's going to make them hesitate to make certain moves at a certain point of the game. Early on, they might not think that way, but again, when they start to see the different kinds of card advantage that you're getting, the different kinds of board advantage that you're getting, because they're just making certain actions, they're doing certain plays, yeah, there's a lot of impact that a card like this can have, again, when it comes to opponents' decision making. Moving on, Aurelia the Law Above. 4/4 Angel, Flying Vigilance, and Haste for 5 mana in Boros. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. On top of that, though, whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia the Law Above deals 3 damage to each opponents, and you gain 3 life. So there's 2 different layers of punishment for opponents on this one. Again, we've seen that angle before where card advantage, card disadvantage in a way for your opponent can be a way to punish them. Hey, you do these things, I'm getting an additional card, it means I'm getting ahead of you. So here's the thing, though, on top of that, hey, if you're attacking with 5 or more creatures, I'm also going to be punishing you. Literally, take some actual damage to your face, and I'll be gaining some life as well. Again, obviously with damage doublers, damage triplers, it can be even more. And again, it's not even just the opponent that attacked, where this is kind of, again, the, hey, I didn't do anything. Well, your friend did, so I'm punishing you as well. all opponents are taking the brunt of that because they player attacked with 5 more creatures. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, this can impact your opponents, whether they're doing things or it's you're doing things, because if you're attacking with 3 or more creatures or you're attacking with 5 more creatures, you're getting a benefit and you're punishing other opponents. That being said, obviously, it does heavily impact players that really want to go wide, that really want to swing out, and you're saying, you know what, if you're going to do that, you're going to have the brunt of this commander's full force at you. Perhaps the most brutal out of all of these commanders, and definitely the most expensive, Sheoldred the Apocalypse. She's $82 right now. A 4/5 for Rexian Praetor with Death Touch for 4 mana in black. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. When an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. One of the very first things you learn in a game of Magic when you're being taught Magic, right? It's like, okay, here's your deck. You start with this many cards in hand, and to start the turn, you're drawing a card. Cool, right? I mean, I guess if it's not like, a one-on-one, with like just like hey, not the first turn. Other than that, though, typically, right, you're drawing a card. So you draw a card. This one says, okay, now you lose life because you did that. You literally just did a basic component of Magic, something that you do in every single turn, sometimes multiple times in a turn, sometimes on your opponent's turns. But because you're doing it, you are getting punished. You are losing life. Because you should not be drawing cards. I get to draw cards. I get to gain life. I get a benefit for doing so. You get punished for doing so. So yeah, this is the type of commander that can be absolutely obnoxious to play against because it is just punishing you for a basic premise of Magic. Again, literally just drawing cards, something that is very powerful in Magic, and this turns into a very big downside because you are going to turn it against them and they are going to get taken out by their own, well, greed of drawing too many cards, right? Moving on, and I love this art, Mogis, God of Slaughter, a 7/5 god for 4 mana in Rakdos, indestructible. Your devotion of black and red is less than 7. Mogis isn't a creature. Beginning of each opponent's upkeep, it's going to deal 2 damage to that player unless they sacrifice a creature. So this one does give that opponent a choice, right? The choice is pretty brutal, though. It's, hey, do you want to keep your creatures in play? If you do, cool. Yeah, you got to pay life to do so. You're going to take damage, essentially, to the face. Because here's the thing with this one, again. You are giving them that option, but it's not a great option again. It is going to be 2 damage. You also might have a way to give this lifelink. You might also have a way to double up that damage to maybe make it into 3 damage. You've got also other ways to make it so that it's very difficult for them to sacrifice creatures because, well, you're going to make it so they don't have very much creature fodder in play. That essentially maybe they only have left their best creature in play, their commander in play. And it's going to be a much tougher decision for them to make. It makes it so that, again, the expectation of, okay, I play things, all right? Yeah, if they're in play to start my turn, they're just in play. No, you've got to make that choice with this one. You are going to be punished here, there, or everywhere. And by the way, if this is a very angry commander when it is, actually active when it comes to devotion, it's going to be smacking you in the face as well. That being said, tough choices makes for, well, tough games for opponents. And finally, let's talk about Kambal, Consul of Allocation. This one is incredibly low to the ground. Again, a lot of these commanders have been, well, the other ones at least, have been 4+ mana that we talked about. This one is very easy to get out early and can really start the pain train early. A 2/3 Human Advisor that says, whenever opponent casts a non-creature spell, the player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So the scales are tilted in your favor if you're building around this one. You are saying, hey, you know what? This only impacts opponents. It does not impact me in a negative way, and it also benefits me as well. And of course, with that benefit too, there are plenty of cards out there like, hey, whenever you gain life, opponents lose that much life or whatever, essentially, or an opponent loses that much life, or you're draining everyone whenever you gain life. There are plenty of ways to do that, so that you can build on top of this to make that punishing effect even more and more and more. But again, at a base level, that's a decent amount. I mean, the swing when it comes to, the point swing is like, okay, they lose 2, you gain 2. That's a 4-point life swing. Ruric Thar is like 6, but also costs 6 and also affects you technically. I'm not saying this is better or worse, it's just different. But yeah, this one is one where the pain is going to be slower throughout the game, but it's also going to pad your life total. And again, there are plenty of ways to take advantage of them losing life and you gaining life too. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.